这是 Jenny Hoyos， 她是一名18岁的 YouTuber， 她绝对是短片领域的王者。仅仅在过去一年，她的短片的总观看次数就超过了6亿次，平均每部短片都有超过1000万次的观看量。她是如何做到的呢？她在之前有接受过采访，在这采访里面，她有公开很多她所使用的使用策略。这期影片就会和你分享，无论是什么样的主题，你都能够打造爆款内容的技巧。短片最佳的时长应该是有多长，以及更多你从来没有听过的策略。这期影片会有非常多的干货，所以我希望你一定要认真的看完。还有 Grayson， 这频道主要是分享关于 YouTube 频道运营、流量变现以及网络创业内容。我每周分享3部影片，所以要记得订阅我频道。Jenny 很自信的说到，她现在是有办法去把任何内容去打造成爆款的，确实是这样子的。从她的频道里面，你可以看到它的短片至少是在100万观看量到1000万观看量这级别的。那么它究竟是怎么做到呢？
It's just adding story and a twist, especially with shorts, since no one's actually having to click on your video. I think you can make a video about anything. You can make video about paint drying, and you can make it entertaining if there's a story around it and if the viewer is invested. I think my content is very personality based, I'd say. So for me, making it personal makes them invested. I'll give you an example. I actually did this in a long form. In the video, I cooked for strangers to make money. Okay, very baseline. Why should they care? Well, my kitchen is broken and I want to raise money for it by cooking and making money. You know, it's ironic. My kitchen's broken, so in order to fix it, I have to cook to make money. So I think that's what makes people invested, having some sort of personal why or goal. And irony too is pretty funny.
如果你点开观看了这部影片，那么你是肯定想要学习如何去打造出流量高的短片的。Jenny 说出了她对此的看法。
When I think of good, it's very subjective. So there's no direct definition as to what makes a good short because everyone has different tastes. But I can say what makes a good short to me.
Okay, let's hear that.
To me, a good short is one that has a strong hook. The way I like to explain it is if it could be used as a title and thumbnail on a long form, and it will still get clicks, then it'll work for a short. So the hook needs to be very visual. You need to understand it without even listening to it. And it needs to be so simple, so simply said, like you said, explained to a 5-year-old. So I think that's one of the key things. And then also just a story that just, pushes you through. And not only do you watch to the end, but you rewatch it again. So that's what makes a good short to me.
在说出了他对于高质量短片的看法之后，他也告诉了我们他是如何从零开始去计划短片内容的。
It's very funny because I like to see shorts even though I don't do that many long forms, I like to see shorts as if I'm making a long form. So I will sketch almost as if it's title and thumbnails. So I have my iPad and I draw what would I visually want it to look like? What are different ways if I was to put it together, what would that look like? So when I'm making a hook, I just keep drawing and sketching or even just imagining until something just clicks. So the first thing is the visual. Easily. The first thing is the visual, and then I figure out how I'm gonna accompany that visual. And what I'm saying, I try to make it as concise as possible, and I'll put it in a readability checker, and then make sure that it's actually understandable to at least 5th grade or under.
Jenny 之所以现在可以轻松的打造出爆款的短片，那是因为她在准备成为短片创作者的时候，就对这个领域有非常深入的研究，包括去观看了大量短片创作者他们的短片，去研究他们的脚本、展现形式，同时对自己的短片有非常深入的分析，不断打磨自己的短片，才达到了现在这样的成就。
Yeah, so I've also deeply analyzed all of my videos, and I think that's where you learn the most. Everyone has different audiences. So what works for Mr. Beast might not work for me, right? So what I did is I did my own little experiment. When I knew I wanted to get into shorts, I told myself I was going to upload every day for as long as possible. And I think I only got a week or 2 in. I didn't get that far, but the goal was essentially to upload as much as possible. Quantity is what makes quality.
他提到一个非常简单的技巧，把本身表现不好的短片，在开始发布之后只获得了3万多次观看量的短片，瞬间打造成为了爆款，最终获得了超过1800多万次的观看量。你看了接下来内容，一定会觉得非常惊讶。
There was one video after 5 days I think it was like 50,000 views in 5 days, right? Which on average, I usually get like 1 million. So I was not happy with the performance. And I pulled up the retention graph and I noticed on the last second, it was a huge dip. It was 70%. 1 second later, it was 45%. Like a 25% drop in 1 second. And the retention was 83%. So what I did was I went to YouTube Studio. I trimmed off that 1 second. YouTube removed this feature, by the way. YouTube, please bring it back. But just by removing that 1 second at the end, it went from 83% to 88%. And the video went flying.
由此可见，对于短片来说，每一秒内容都是非常重要、非常珍贵的。因为短片里面每一秒内容都需要去抓住观众的注意力，这样 YouTube 算法才能够知道你这部短片是值得去推荐给更多观众观看的。
Every second counts on a short, like every single second. Because when you think about it, let's say you have a 30-second short, right? If you lose 1 second, that's already 97%. That's 3 percentages. You know, if you lose 2 seconds, that's 6%. So when you think about it on shorts, like you're not just losing 1 second, you're losing double or even triple because that 1 second accumulates to 2 or 3% of the video.
观众在观看短片时候所观看的时长是算法看中的一个重要的因素，而另外一个算法也看中的一个重要因素就是观众是否有重复观看这部短片，也就是观众是否不仅观看了1次，还观看了第2次，甚至是更多次。
The average scroll through rate, which is basically like on YouTube Shorts, you can see what percentage of people viewed versus swiped away. And I like to call it scroll through rate. But the average scroll through rate is like 70%. You want to get that as high as possible. My personal scroll through rate is like 85%. So my average scroll through rate is 85%, but my average retention is 95%. If only 85% of people are watching it, how does the retention subtly get to 95%? It's because they're rewatching it. So to have that like 90+% retention, which is like, in my opinion, the bare minimum, like for a short to blow up, you need them to watch it again.
如果你已经是一名创造者了，那么你肯定知道，影片在观众一开始点击进来观看的时候，就需要快速抓住他们注意力，我们称之为这是 hook。今天有说到，短片的 hook 是在第一帧画面就开始的。
Yes, I'm talking about the first frame. I don't know how many shorts you've seen, so I'll try and explain it.
But I've seen more than one, but less than you. So let's assume on the low end.
Course. Yeah. So I have this series where I remake fast food items for $1. Instead of like showing my face, I show the location. I show the front of the location. Because obviously like more people know the fast food location than they know me. The easiest way to describe like the video just visually is by showing the fast food item in front of the location. So usually it's so funny. I would have the logo in the middle and then I'll put the food item here. And then right in the middle, I'll put like $1 burrito, $1 sandwich, $1 burger. So then it's like you perfectly see it. It's always perfectly aligned. And it really helps for benchability too, because it's actually a playlist. And I get a lot of views from people like just like watching it down and they just know it's me every time they see that framing.
任何内容都是从一个话题想法开始的。如果你能够想到一个非常好的话题想法，那么就证明你成功了一半。你能够知道制作出来的内容是能够获得更多观众的关注的。今天有说到，他已经储存了超过1000个话题了，他究竟是怎么样做到呢？
Okay, there's a lot of ways. So one way is I just watch YouTube and then see what I personally, like want to recreate and like twist. Or it's like, what video do I want to watch? Or as funny as it sounds, I also use AI. AI has some pretty good ideas. But the best ideas, at least for me personally, they come from just living it and then thinking this is a video idea. So let me explain that. So one of my most popular videos is me making a garden. As funny as it sounds, because that sounds like it would get no views, yet it has like 30 million views. Like, so
that's a ton.
There's so many ideas where something like this happened. One day I was eating ratatouille because it's like one of my favorite foods, right? And I'm like, I can't believe like it costs $20 to cook. And I'm like, but can't I just make a garden and then have unlimited ratatouille for like $5? And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's a video idea. So I'm like, now I gotta make a garden and then I'm gonna grow vegetables to have infinite ratatouille because it's my favorite food. So like, that's where the story came from. Or like another time, my grandma, it was so funny. She got like, I think it was like laundry detergent in the mail or whatever, like free laundry detergent. And I'm like, how'd you get free laundry detergent? That's like $30. And she was like, oh, I called the company and I complained to them. I told them that they suck and they sent me free laundry detergent. And I'm like, that's a video. I gotta do that. So it's like, just things that I live. And then I'm like, that needs to be a video. Those are my best ideas.
但是 Jenny 也有说到，在这个1000个话题想法里面，最终他可能只会用其中的10个，这10个是他最认为可以打造出爆款短片的想法。那么他是如何决定的呢？
So let's say we have 100 ideas. I'll narrow it down to like 25 to 50. That's usually just based on like, the first thing I ask myself is, do I want to make it? I don't ask if it'll go viral. I can figure out how to make it viral if I really want to make it. So first I tell myself, do I actually want to make this? Is this actually logistically possible? And then it's like, is the hook good? Is the mechanism good? Are people going to rewatch this? Then that's when I look at like, where's the virality aspect in this? Then I'll bring it down to 25. Then from there, I'll send it to my video editor, who's also like, he's really involved in the channel. So he's not just a video editor, he's also like a strategist because, he knows a lot about YouTube. And I'll send it to him and he'll bring my 25 to like 10. And he'll go in and tell me like even further if it actually seems viral, if he thinks it's shareable. But for him, like he's really good at telling if a concept is simple yet complex, if that makes sense.
Jenny 有提出一个概念叫观众的留存机制，他利用这种留存机制去控制观众对于短片内容的期待，去让更多观众会想要看到短片的最后。
If they're going to be pushed till the end. So like a good example is Mr. Beast, the red circle. Like, is it like last to leave circle wins $500,000? The mechanism is the circle is constantly closing. So the viewers are watching till the end. So if it was just like the circle wasn't closing, I don't know if anyone would watch to the end. They'll just skip to the end, probably.
大家都一定想知道有没有一个最佳的短片时长是算法会给更多推荐量的，而 Jenny 就发现了这个数据。接下来大家一定要认真听好。
Exactly 34 seconds, because my most popular videos are exactly that length, so I try to make it exactly that length.
That was good.
而对于这样时长的短片，观众需要观看多长的时间才算是优质的短片呢？
But for me, I noticed if a short is less than 30 seconds, it has to have over 100% retention or else it's not going to take off.
Wow.
So that's why I like to make it slightly longer. But too long is too long for my audience, since I do have a very young audience.
现在短片的平台有非常多 ，IG 的 Reels、TikTok、YouTube Shorts。那么这些平台都是一样的吗？你选择哪个平台去发布短片内容，都是会有一样的效果吗？今天有说到这几个平台都有非常大的区别。
Yeah, so short form content is not the same across platforms. And I know this because I used to do very well on TikTok before I was doing well on YouTube. In fact, when I had like 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, I had like 70K on TikTok. So I was doing much better and I was averaging like 1 million views per TikTok. What was crazy is, I remember at this point, I was posting to all 3 platforms, but TikTok was getting all the views. YouTube Shorts and Instagram Reels were getting like none of it. The same video that would get 1 million views on TikTok would get 1,000 views on YouTube Shorts. And I was like, okay, let me switch a strategy because I got banned on TikTok like for a short period of time. I'm like, let me focus on YouTube. And then the opposite happened. I started averaging 1 million views on YouTube and then 1,000 on TikTok. I'm like, this is really strange. Like these platforms definitely want different content. And what I found, YouTube likes definitely a slower, more mature, it's a more mature audience. So they want like a slower pace, more story. So those would be like the 34-second shorts that I'm making right now. TikTok, on the other hand, did not like videos over 30 seconds. It liked 10 to 20 second videos that were just like dense with information, not that many jokes, just like, just scrollable. They're just trying to scroll as much as possible. Versus Instagram Reels was also slightly more mature, but because they have that mute feature, a lot of those videos would be very visual and would have like subtitles in every second and would have like a lot of shareability since it's very easy to share on Instagram.
现在你知道了很多打造爆款短片的技巧了。如果你也想发短片，你可以看这期影片，里面告诉你现在的 YouTube 演算法是怎么样的。如果你觉得这期影片对你有帮助，希望让这部影片点个赞，一定要记得订阅我频道，了解更多关于 YouTube 内容，追踪我 IG，能够和我更多互动。那么下期影片再见，拜拜。